Hey guys, so I don't know if you remember from the other day, I had this little unboxing of these pins, and I wanted this Minnie Mouse one specifically, but obviously I didn't get it because it's a blind box. And anyway, and she's the chaser, of course. So, well, I had these pins. I did get the Donald. I did wind up getting Donald, and I decided to make a fun little art piece out of it and do a little tutorial to show you how to do it. I thought this was, especially these particular pins where it's like they're all kind of like doing things together. I felt like this would be a fun way to display it using craft supplies, and also a different way of displaying pins than just, you know, in your cork board. I thought this was a fun alternative. So I was glad to show it to you. So there we go. It's hard to see with the light from my window in front of me, but the window gives great lighting on my cute face, but not so much great lighting on glass. But I'm going to show you how to do it. It's very quick and easy, and I got this frame from the Dollar Tree for only $1, the $1.25 tree. This was $1. You know, it might have actually been $1.50, not $1.25. It used to be. No, I bought these before when they were only $1.25. But you can buy them now probably for $1.50 or maybe $3, who knows. But yeah, I'll show you how to do this. Hey guys, so I don't have a completed project to show you yet because it's kind of like a one-shot deal. And so I want to make sure this video, I can like edit it so it can be a good reel. Okay, so supplies. This is technically they call it a 4x4 frame. Here, I'll move it over here so the light. Technically, this is a 4x4 frame from the Dollar Tree. Sometimes they have it technically it doesn't have to be 4x4. It's actually technically more of like a 6x6, because what fits inside the frame is, what fits inside the window part is, I guess that's 4 and 1, 2, 3/8. That's 4 3/8 that technically fits inside, or 5 3/8 that fits inside the frame. So it's not 4x4, it's actually bigger. So you would want to cut your paper more like 6x6 so it fits the whole inside of the frame a little better. So we're going to be using this paper. Which is so cute. I wanted to use these pins. I have this idea for the pins. So this paper comes from the Spooky Sweet stamp set. And it has, you know, like this scene up here that's the full walkway, but then it also has this down here that you can cut up and put into picture frames too. Well, I had used the back side of this paper for something else that you'll see later this week. So I had a piece left over that I want to chop up, you know, just I'm not going to chop up a new piece just because. So that's what we're going to do. So normally I don't cut all my paper for you guys. So I cut this at 6x6 is what I cut it at. It was cut at six down. I cut it in half. Oh no, I cut it at 7, I guess. That's weird. Okay, so we need to cut this down to 6. So I guess I can close that. So we can cut this down to 6. Okay. This is going to be covered up under the frame. Then I wanted to decide which part do I want. I want the doorway. So, and the steps. So I could have cut it right here in the middle, but I kind of like this cat over here on the side. But I could, in theory, cut it right here in the middle, but I want this cat. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this right here. And we can trim it again if we need to, because I might be cutting off that bird. But I want to make sure that the door is visible. So let's cut this right here. Oh, I hate to cut that, but I want to have that door visible. If I cut it here, Yeah, no, we'll cut it here. Okay, because part of this is going to get covered up. And then we'll do that like 6. Yeah, so we'll cut off the bird. And then we're going to cut this down. Oh, that's already cut down. Okay, so that is 6 by 6. Okay, and I'll use these pieces for other stuff, but I wanted to have this for my frame. So what you're going to see is when we open up my frame, I did this for some stitch pins. I bought these pins. I realized I did buy a collection of pins. It was when they had the Stitch Crashes. It was like Stitch Crashes, all these movies. They had all these Stitch Crash movies. And because of that, there were these pins that you could get, or plushies. So my goal is to be able to put my pins in here, and then I'm going to close it. And so the goal is to be able to lay the pins out on the paper and then pop them into the frame. It's kind of like a window frame. I've done it before with pins. It's a little tricky. So I just realized I got to clean the glass. So we got to clean this glass real quick. So let me get some alcohol wipes real quick. It's pretty dirty. The alcohol wipes will dry quickly and remove any like greasy smudge or anything like that. And it'll dry quickly too because it's alcohol. Just wanted to make sure there's no streaking. Yeah, there's a little ick there. Some of it's dust, some of it's, I don't know, something else. Okay, so we'll clean that off. Let that dry a second. We'll let that dry. Then what we're gonna wind up doing is we're gonna wind up, we have to remember, we have to place the pins in here based on the frame. So you don't want, that's why I was kind of worried about where to put my pins. I just thought this would be fun to be able to place them in. So see, Daisy and Donald are like looking, I know I don't have many, but Goofy is so much smaller. So I actually thought he'd be fun up on the stairs. So I thought that'd be fun. Like he had just gone trick-or-treating. And I think they will just fit. Like Donald will be against the, actually maybe Donald will be down a little lower. Oopsie. We'll have to just kind of play with it and see how we want it. So we know we have to keep it fairly limited because if we put it too far down, they won't fit. So we have to just be careful. So I kind of like the idea of Donald and Daisy talking to each other. And I like Pluto running ahead. I think this is a good like layout. And he's just walking, there we go. And then he's just walking on the sidewalk, but these two are talking together and then Pluto's running ahead. So the only one I'm missing is Minnie. So if I get a Minnie, I'll have to figure out something else to do with her. Maybe she can be up here on the porch too, but we'll see. Like I'll have to figure something out, but I don't have Minnie and I just thought this would be a fun little alternative. So now we just have to pretty much place them and then we'll put them in back in. Oh, this is like still so dirty. It's so weird. Normally it'll clean off real quick. So one sec, let me grab some cleaner. let's clean this off. And we also need a piece of 6x6 for a backing. I just realized. So let's clean this off. Oh, that's like too much cleaner now, Jennifer. Typical. It just has to be, you know, I don't want to put it all together and then see all these smudges all over the frame, you know. So it's tricky. Be careful because it is real glass. I think that might do it. Yeah. And then I'll clean this one too. Because you're going to just put both of them in there. There we go. It's getting clean. I think you can see my vision of what I'm wanting. Obviously. Just be careful. Just want to make sure your stuff is clean. I just don't want to put it in there and then my fingerprints are all over it. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. Okay, good. Finally. But you know what I did forget was I forgot I needed a piece of just white cardstock. So let me set this aside. I need just a piece of white cardstock that's cut down to 6x6 too. This is to give some stiffness to the paper. Like I said, I have to do this in one shot because one, I don't have all the pins. And so I did wind up getting a Donald. So that was good. I just no mini. One day, we'll see. Okay. All right. So now we're going to take your pins. We're going to put them together like this. I'm actually going to put a little bit of glue on this to hold the cardstock down. And that also helps the pins stay in place. And I'm just using this little, this is called the, this is called Stamp and Seal. I don't hardly use it in my videos. One, it's a little bit more expensive than the liquid glue, and sometimes it could be a little problematic, so I didn't use it as much. I've gotten better at using it now, but it's also quite expensive. More expensive, but it is convenient, you know, because it gives the perfect seal for your, I definitely want Goofy up here on I definitely want Goofy up here on the steps. So let's put him like, I don't want him to cover the ghost. No, let's put him on that step. Okay, it's a little tricky, but we'll just try our best. Perfect, got him right on the step. And again, you know, you could move it in theory, you know, just be mindful of like, so lift it up in your hand. Don't poke through, obviously, because you'll, look, I poked myself. Look, I must have poked myself with the pin. I didn't even notice it. So we've got that. So then we've got our Donald and Daisy, who I want talking to each other. And so I want them talking to each other. I think it's so cute. And then I want Pluto kind of like running in the street. So let's put Mickey here. We got to keep a border. Remember, we got to keep a border on the edge here. So we got to be careful where we put Mickey or even Donald. He's getting a little too far over the edge. I think we're going to have to place Pluto last. I think I'm going to put Donald like right up against this fence, but not covering the cat. So I think I'll put him right up against this fence. And then because Daisy's a little bit turned already, I'll turn her up a little. Okay. And then I'll place Mickey and Pluto last. Again, it's, you know, it's not a difficult project, but it's definitely a cool way to display these cool pins. I decided to keep the set that I could find. And I'll eventually get, you know, I know I'll eventually get the rest. It's just going to take time to find the right person who's got the, okay, just be careful, don't poke your finger. Perfect. So now I've got him right up against the fence. And then I'm going to put my backing. These Loungefly ones come with the gold backing. Now Daisy's going to be a little tricky because she's got 2 posts. And as you know, with the 2 posts, sometimes that can be problematic, you know. So to place it just right where they're straight. It's the same as when you put it in a cork board. Oh, you know what would have been smart is if I had my little pin folio underneath. Let me grab my pin folio. That would have been smart. Although it's not going to work because the backs are already on. It might have worked if I hadn't put the backs, but I don't have one big enough. So, okay, let's see. I only have a small pin folio. I don't have like a big one. One of the large kind. Okay, I like him there. And I like her. I think I like her just right here. Okay. There we go. Okay. I think that's good. I might have to move Donald over a little bit, but she's in a good spot. So then we've got Mickey over here, and that leaves room for Pluto. He's going to be right in the corner. But yeah, I think if we move any more, it's going to be a problem. So let's go ahead and before we put, oh, I guess I can move him over a little bit more. And I can put Mickey on the sidewalk right there. You know, so Donald, so it's like he's running away. And I guess I guess I could have moved Daisy down a little bit, but not if I wanted to fit. Well, there you go. Maybe I'll find room for Minnie right there, but I'll put Mickey. I guess I'll put Mickey right here because then it spreads it out a little bit. I was going to put him like right on the sidewalk because I kind of liked him walking on the sidewalk. Do I want him there? Let's see, because this is how it's going to look so far. Let me put the pins on the back of Daisy. I think I might have put Donald and Daisy up a little too high. But let's see. Yeah, I think I put Donald and Daisy up a little bit too high. And then we have Pluto down here running. So he can run in the corner, but I can bring Donald down just a little bit. Let me bring him down. And it's okay. You will probably not even see the hole. Yeah. Once I bring him down onto the sidewalk, the rest of his body is going to cover that little hole. There we go. There we go. I think that looks a little bit better. A little bit more natural. I was just worried about the edge of the frame. And then I loved him up there because Goofy is like so tall, but he looks so small here. So we will work on Mickey, but Pluto's going to go in this corner, I think. So let's check it again. Yeah, I think they're in a good space. They were almost like too close together. And then I can put Pluto right here, instead of the corner, I'll put him right here on the street running. And then I can put Mickey walking behind them on the sidewalk. I think that looks good. Yeah, I think that looks good. All right. Again, this is a quick little craft today. It's not that hard, but it's a one and done because I don't want to waste more paper and redo this on another. I don't mind wasting a little paper, but there we go. You have to be careful because remember, you got to make sure you have enough room over there for your Mickey. And then Pluto can go right here, running in the street. A little too high, I think. Well, let's see. Maybe not. Let's try it. No, that looks good, I think. No, I think I'm going to move him just a tiny bit lower than Donald's foot. There's something about the spacing sometimes, like... There we go. And I still managed to come up. See, his foot, it was like touching almost his ear. And so I wanted it a tiny bit lower. There we go. And now you can technically put it like this, but I'm going to actually put the glass on top. I'm going to technically put the glass on top. And then put the, let me make sure it looks okay in the front. Yeah. And look at all those little bumps. Remember at the bottom of the paper, all the little bumps at the bottom of the paper. It was like a fence at the bottom of the paper. Well, all that's gone now because it's covered by the frame, because I made sure to cut this at 6 by 6. Now, like I said, you can cut it at something smaller. Oh, the bumps move. Hold on. The bumps moved on me. I wanted him a little, and I can't, unfortunately. There we go. I want that all the way to the bottom. I want that paper all the way on the bottom. So let me do this top one first. I could probably find another way to hide it, but they're pretty much hidden. They're going to slide a little because the paper has slid. There we go. But yeah, so there's my little, I can hang it up on the wall now. And I thought that's so fun. Now again, I need to twist Goofy just a tiny bit. There we go. I can take off his back still a tiny bit and twist him. But, and then I just hang this straight on the wall and it fits. So, you know, it's got a little hook. I just hang it on the wall, even with the backs on. And there's my little art piece. Now, if I get the mini, I'll have to figure out where to put her. Although maybe she can be flying, because technically she's a fairy princess. So, although I think she has pumpkins on her legs, but you know, we'll worry about that if I ever get the mini. But how cute is that? Isn't that a cute little way to display your pins? And again, this paper is called the Spooky Sweet Designer Series paper. It is available on the Stampin' Up website. You can get it from FabulousStamper.com. If you click on Shop With Me, you can buy it from there. And then you can also get the paper cutter. You know, you can get just the basics again. Or you can also find another, you know, type of paper like this and cut it up. I just liked the cat. I had to use the cat. I didn't really want all the ghosts. Although I love the ghosts too. So anyway, so that's our fun little silly craft, you know, like I just thought what a cool little way to display my little pins from this little collection. And so we will be on the elusive hunt for many as we go. So, all right, well, thanks for tuning in. Bye.